Currently at 9 degrees, it's 23 minutes after 7 on Radio One. If you are a parent, you know what it's like to be bombarded by warnings about the importance of keeping track of how your kids are using the Internet. Schools offer regular computer information sessions. They provide advice on how to protect children from the perils that lurk online. But as our parenting columnist Karen Horstman recently found out, many parent information sessions are not well attended, and many of the parents who do show up still don't have a clue what their children are doing on the net.
Ready, fight.
Hard to tell if that's a video game on a PS3, Xbox, the Wii, maybe a DS, but actually it's a game on the good old computer. It's still a very popular way for kids to play their games, especially younger ones who can stay on the computer for hours. And despite all the warnings and internet changes like Facebook, I would say one issue has remained unchanged. Most parents still don't have a clue what their kids are doing on the computer. Steve Chapelle is trying to change that.
This was a search for Pokemon. Now, if you just look carefully for a moment on there.
Trust me, it wasn't Chimchar or Pikachu as you normally see them. Steve is the father of two, and he's been an IT professional for more than 20 years. He's here tonight at Leslieville Public School in Toronto because of a conversation that took place about 2 years ago. He was over at a client's house when she told him about a serious case of cyberbullying at her school. The part of the story that stuck with Steve the most was the parents had no idea how to deal with it. From that conversation, an idea was born. Steve wrote a parent handbook on the Internet. In it, he covers everything from chat to file sharing to firewalls. He says parents have to stop being intimidated by the computer.
You're not defenseless. You're not helpless. And just because the kids know more about the technology doesn't mean that you're not the parent still. They can negotiate the behavior with the computer, and then the child has the option of following the rules just like any other rules with the car, the TV, anything. And if they break the rules, I can show the parents how to check logs to see if they broke the rules, how to withdraw privileges as far as the password to get on the computer, or lock down websites, things like that. It's not as hard as you might think it is.
That's for older kids. For the younger ones, Steve says go on the sites with them. Ask them what they enjoy, like this group of kids I spoke to.
On the computer, I like to play video games or go on video game websites like Miniclip.
On the computer, Barbie won't let me, but I try to log on. I like to go on Pastopia. That has a lot of games, but the new ones, they don't let you. On Build-A-Bear, I always talk to my sister so I can see where she is all the time on Build-A-Bear. I always go to her house. She always tells me where she is, and she comes to my house.
You can hear even from a little one that there are things that she's not allowed to do. She can only visit her sister's house, for example. Steve is big on rules. So is Nicole Herbert. She's the chair of the Leslieville School Parent Council.
We have restrictions about what times they can use it, what days they're allowed to use. That also goes with the video game technology. We call it technology time.
Are they MSNing it?
No, we had a request for that last year, and I said that I was not going there. We decided as a family that that's something that you don't need. And it's one more thing as a parent that we have to monitor, because I would not permit that without monitoring, and that's a lot of time.
Steve says it's a parent's duty to monitor what their kids are doing on the computer. He suggests checking history logs regularly, establishing where they can and cannot go. He even includes a child agreement contract in his handbook that he says should be posted beside the computer. And Steve says parents should take it one step further.
Create yourself a MySpace account. Create yourself a Facebook account. And you can keep in touch with your children that way. So let's just recap on the rules for chat. Keep the computer in a common area, not in the bedroom.
The room for this seminar was by no means packed. That's not uncommon for other internet information seminars I've attended. Parents are worried, yes, this is on their radar, but organizers can't get the big numbers for these presentations. But Steve Chapelle is plugging away, and he's busy enough. 2 years ago, blogs, MySpace, and YouTube weren't on the radar. Hard to tell what's coming down the pipe in the next 2 years. But one thing is for certain, our kids will know a lot more about it than we will. It's up to us to decide whether we want to jump right in there along with them. For Metro Morning, I'm Karen Horstman.
Fascinating. Create a Facebook page as a means of communicating with your child. Isn't that interesting? Wow. What if you send your child a message asking to be her friend, and she doesn't let you in. How do you deal with the rejection? Fascinating story, and you can hear more about it if you want to hear it again on Karen's parenting column on our website at cbc.ca/metromorning.